record.
Perfect.
And then I'm just going to do a quick update for our team, and then we're going to let Kelley get started because I'm so excited. I was sharing with my team today how excited I am to hear her speak tonight. So, quick updates. It is no, it's not. It's September 21st. Today is the launch of the Mix bike. I know that the majority of our teammates and customers that wanted the bike have already purchased, which is so incredible. And I really think that, we're going to see how many people are purchasing, what the idea of the bike is, or what it's about. And then as people start to get theirs delivered, and I think there's going to be a lot more hype and excitement once us coaches get them in our homes and can start using them and showing people what it's all about. So I think this is going to be kind of I'm sure it was a bunch of coaches ordering today, and then it's kind of going to be a slow roller into the fall and winter and Christmas and New Year's. But I am stoked. Like, I put my Peloton on Facebook Marketplace today. I already have several people wanting to come see it, and I'm like, crap, I'm on a team call. You can't come yet. So that was pretty cool. And then Team Cup is in October, so you should be looking for a team right now of 5. If you do not have a team, you can post in Fit Club Network. It's a bigger network to find other people to join you, or our team Fit to Love. And we've got 10 days left in the month to hit Success Club to help 3 people get started on their journeys. We know that people need what we have to offer. We have so much more to offer now, and you really need to just focus on helping 3 people before the end of September get started. So that being said, if there's questions or comments, or you guys want to talk about our Shake Your Groove Thing challenge or the bike and things like that, I'll wait until after Kelley's done with her spiel, so we can respect her time. I know she has littles at home. So I have to give you this long list of accolades from Miss Burnham. Is it Burnham or Burnham?
Burnham.
Okay, good. Yeah. She has the cool spelling of Kelley, not like mine. Mine's boring, but she's been a coach for 6 years, lifetime 8-star diamond, 1 star in her second business center. So 8-star diamond in her first, and 1 star in her second CBC, 2 times elite, 2 times premier, 73 months in Success Club. And that actually probably is 74 now, because I think you gave these to me in August or in July, I think. So probably 74 months. At Success Club 5, 42 or 43 at Success Club 10. And on top of that, she's a mom of 4. And I don't know, I'll let her tell you her story and her ages, but when I'm checking out her social media, they look young. So, or at least some of the pictures I saw. But the reason I asked her here is I asked in our 5 to 8-star elite group, people that are really comfortable with social media and connecting through Instagram specifically. She has over 22,000 followers. She's gone viral, over 1 million views on some of her reels I saw. So I'm really excited to learn from Kelley tonight. So go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. And then can you make me the host?
Oh, yep.
Share my screen.
I was going to say, yep, absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah. So Kelley asked me to talk, and I think your team called nights are Thursdays.
They were. Right? We changed it to Mondays, but they didn't. Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. Yeah. So Thursday night, my husband and I, since we had our 4th child, we have done a consistent date night. And I'm like, that is sacred to us. That is one thing that has helped us. And we go and play pickleball. We're not like going to dinner and drinking and feeling like worn out the next day. We go and do a physical activity, which is like, I realize, so fun, you guys. Like, if you don't do that already with your spouse, I highly recommend that. But so thanks for adjusting the time. I know this is recorded, so those who aren't on can listen to this, but I'm going to just share a little bit of my background, and then here, let me share my slides first. That way you can read while I'm doing, no, I don't need that. Okay. Can you see my screen yet? You can. Okay. Let me just hit present. And let me just say, you guys, I feel like I'm a 3rd grader when I make these. I use Google. I use, what is it? It's Google Slides. And I just feel like I'm not good at these. And I just want you to know that, like, when I started, I just did the basics. Like, I still think that my coach probably thought, oh gosh, she won't be successful. I asked her so many questions. I would never show up to any team calls. I didn't do one training. So sometimes I think, and what I tell my new coaches, I always say, hold on a second. You don't need to go through any of the training to start. I didn't do any training until after about a year into coaching. And so I always say, if you just take action and really just have fun with what you're doing, people will gravitate to you for that. And if you stay consistent, it's so simple what we do. And I think sometimes we overcomplicate it. So I, like Kelley had said, I am a mom of four. And I started this when I had two kids. I had just had my second son. And I was about 5 weeks postpartum, thinking about like my life with two little kids, two under two, and how I will ever work out again. And I've always been into fitness, and I played soccer in college. I love running. Like, to me, that's my outlet. Like, I was just scared, like, oh my God, now I have two babies. How will I ever do this? And at the time, I was on maternity leave. I've always been in medical device sales or pharmaceutical sales. So I was just taking that time to figure out, what am I going to go do? So I saw one of my friends, who actually I played soccer with in college, share about these home workouts. And I remember like rolling my eyes at her. I would see her posts like every day. And she just had a baby too, but she was getting results, showing how quickly she could get it done. And then she did one post that I think I was in my living room and sitting on the ground after nursing and being like, I'm so tired. I don't want to go like to the gym. I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm finally clear to work out. Like, there's no way I'm going to have the energy to go to the classes that I used to do and coordinate that with my husband, who was obviously working. And so I just ended up clicking on her posting, like, I'm interested. And then I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And so I always have to put that back in my mind when we're sharing our journey, how it doesn't just come by you doing one or two posts. I think I watched her probably when I was like really big and pregnant, and watched her for about 5 or 6 months before I finally was at a breaking point going, I need a solution. And she was the one always sharing positivity, always sharing, the workouts and the meal plans and the stuff about our group. And I just needed that. Right. So I never ever thought I would become a coach. In fact, I signed up as a discount coach from the beginning, because she just was like, you might as well get the discount. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do more than just 1 month. And then when she asked me to consider coaching, I was like, no. And that's why I think it's funny that I like social media now, because at the time I was someone who would share, a family vacation. I shared the highlight reel. I shared like every now and then of my kids and maybe my husband and I, but really I didn't feel comfortable putting myself out on social media. One, I have always dealt with being like kind of a people pleaser my whole life and worrying about the opinions of others. I never want to, my friend always calls it, ruffle anyone's feathers. Like, I always want to be in the middle, and like, I don't want to, I'm an Enneagram 7, if any of you guys are 7s. So I'm like the one that's like, oh, like, let's just do the fun stuff. Let's go to the next fun event. And I have FOMO. I, want to have just joy. So for me, putting myself out on social media was always kind of like, I don't want to be that girl. I don't want to deal with someone unfollowing me or getting annoyed with my posts. And so that was really intimidating for me, right? But then once, and I have it on here, once I said, okay, I'm going to do my first post, I'm that person that just in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, I'm not going to be that person that does one post and then doesn't do anything again, because I saw too many people do that. And my whole life, no matter what I did, and maybe this is like a positive attribute from playing soccer my whole life and being a team player. And when you do something, like, I always go back to soccer, like, are you going to tell your kids, like, you only get better if you show up, right? Like, you're not going to get better if you don't like losing and you want to work on your skill sets, then you got to keep showing up. That's the only way you're going to get better. So I had proof in that, because I was a short girl. I'm 5'1.5". To think that I would ever play collegiate soccer was like, yeah, right. But then I just knew I could outrun someone, and I could probably, with my quickness, get around and scurry around these other defenders. And so just from experience, I'm like, you have to just go all in. If you're going to commit, you got to do it. It's the same thing with our fitness. That's why, like, I love what we do, because if you can nail down the consistency with your fitness journey, you can always attribute that to your business, right? It's just a matter of staying consistent. And I'll say right now, I'm not someone who posts every single day. There might be sometimes, when I have the time and the inspiration that I will, but I just I don't. And I think that's okay where we're at, where like social media is at this point. Every coach is different. Everyone says different things. So I'm just telling you from my experience what has worked for me. Um, so after 3 years of coaching, it was always in the back of my mind that I wanted to quit my pharmaceutical job. So after I had my third little boy over here, I was able, after my maternity leave, I was so excited, like to be able to tell my boss when she was like, all right, we need to meet you tomorrow to go over your numbers, why they've dropped when you've been on maternity leave. And I was just like, I'm so over this corporate life. I'm so over just like having to be on someone else's timeline. And I just felt like, I told my husband, I'm like, I'm not going to go back. I'm just going to tell her right now, I don't need to meet with her. I decided that's not for me. I was already making a full-time income after those 3 years, insert in income disclaimer. But you guys have to say, like, I wasn't a coach that just shot from to the top. But you might hear all those accolades and see, like, now I'm ranked number 52. We've been a 2-time elite, hopefully 3-time, not hopefully, we will be, right? A 3-time elite team. I've been premier twice. But I want you to know we all start at ground zero and we all have had struggles. So this is a visual of me at my first summit. So it was a year after I started coaching. I went to my first summit, a year and a couple months, and I was by myself. Okay, on the right, I was completely by myself. I decided to go, I don't know, maybe like 2 months beforehand or maybe a month beforehand. I was like, I gotta go. If I'm really gonna take this seriously and I'm showing up and I want to recruit and build a team and have financial freedom and quit my pharmaceutical job one day, I have to be there. So I went. It was in Nashville. It was amazing. It was the best experience. Even though I was by myself, I met girls there. This was my second summit. So I started building a team. A couple more girls were with us, but they just weren't in this photo. But I say this because I think sometimes when you hear the accolades and you see someone that's had success, you're kind of like, yeah, but, yeah, but. And I want you to know that I started with my husband and my mom as my first 2 coaches. And I grew my mom to emerald and also Nick to emerald to get to diamond. I didn't have a working coach for probably about a year. And then I've had coaches, even diamonds, quit on me over the last 6 years, especially my first 3 years. I had a rebuilding year after year 3. And that was right when I quit my corporate job. But I just want to say, like, it's amazing when you stay true to your why and your vision, because it will come to fruition if you stick with it. But we all have slower months. Who's having a slow month right now? Has September been hard for you guys? Because for me and our team, it's like been really hard. And I'm going to share some of my tips coming forward. And we all feel defeated at times, right? You're all like, that's the beauty, I guess, of being an entrepreneur and having your own business, is that it's really up to you to have the results. You can't always rely on your team, especially when you're in the building stage. And you have to take action in order for you to grow with Success Club, with building a team, all of that. So the difference, though, is that to building a team and having success is that you don't quit, and you don't ever fail unless you quit, right? So you can say, yeah, but I failed. We all can say that we have failed, but you don't really fail until you really quit, right? So it's just you're learning when you make those mistakes. So I've used social media to grow my business and attract my tribe. And so my main topics tonight is to be you. I'm going to go over branding. I'm going to talk about the 3 steps to growing your tribe. And then consistency, obviously, is key. We all know that. This is that summit. We did our own in Arizona. And I had, how many did I have? Now I'm blanking how many people. It was close to 100 people and in my downline. And now I have an elite coach underneath me, also soon to be an elite coach, Nicole and Kim right here. Nicole, actually, who's the tallest one in this photo, is ranked number 14 right now in the company, which is incredible. She was on the National Wake Up Call probably 5 or 6 months ago. She was one of my very first coaches. She didn't have success until, I don't want to say didn't have success. She had success, but she didn't have success in building her team until year 3. That's how long it took her to figure out who she needed to talk to. She was hitting Success Club, but she wasn't getting like those coaches. So how many of you guys are like, I got a coach, awesome, and you're like banking on that coach, and then they quit? like after 2 or 3 months, right? It's so defeating. You're like, but that was my coach. That's how I got to diamond. And that was kind of where Nicole was at. And it was like, okay, we got to get you out of that mindset of, thinking you're not going to be able to grow a team. And she always just thought, well, Kelley, you've done it. I don't know how I will ever do it. But anyway, that's long story short there. So how will people connect with you on your page? So I just screenshotted this to show you my most updated feed, but I always go back to who are you, right? So your bio, I always tell my coaches, let's not make it busy. So I always put it out. I write it out in my notes section of my phone. I don't know why, maybe it's changed, but in order for me for it to come out, like not in just one big blur paragraph, I had to do it on my phone in the notes section. So it's spread out, right? Like bullet points. And this is just how I've done it. There's a lot of people that you can see how they've done it. But make it short, make it sweet, but make sure that people know that when they stop by your page and see you, what are you going to be sharing? Why should I follow Kelley? What is about her than the other person out there? So I recently changed mine to share fashion because I share a lot of links to clothes that I wear. I get asked a lot, like, what are you wearing? What's this? And I didn't want to do this, you guys, because I was like, that's just more time for me. But I set up a like to know it account. A lot of times people are like, okay, well, where are you getting that? Where's this? And I just finally said, you know what? I'm going to make commission off of it. Same thing that we do with Beachbody. I'm sharing stuff that I like. So now I have a like to know it account where people can go on my page and search for the clothes that I wear. And I just figured, you know what? Yeah, that's time, more time for me. But that's also something that how I'm serving my audience, right? I realized over the time, like some people tell me that's why they follow me. So I was like, okay, if I want to keep them there, then I need to make sure that I'm providing that stuff. And then it should reflect you and what they'll see on your feed and your story. So if you're saying, all this stuff on here, make sure that you're sharing that too on your feed and also your stories. And then this is just my opinion on what not to do. I share Beachbody in my posts. Like I'll say I'm a Beachbody coach. I have no problem doing that. I just don't think you need to have that on your profile or have a link to your website. Hopefully you guys know that. So no Beachbody links, no Beachbody lingo. Yes, of course you can talk about it. I do all day long. People know that. But I just think sometimes when people first go to you, I just don't think it needs to be in their face. Okay. So again, your bio should summarize your brand. I always say, like I have coaches that I go to their profile and I'm like, okay, that's a great picture, but it's really dark. And I wouldn't know when I'm scrolling. I don't really see your face. I see your kids and I see a distant far off picture of you. And that was probably the hardest thing for me when I started coaching was like taking pictures of me and me being the main focus of our news feed, because you kind of feel selfish or kind of like me. But when you think about it, you're not selling Beachbody. You're not promoting, and that's not on your feed, right? People aren't like, they're buying you. So of course I sprinkle in my family. Of course I sprinkle in my kids. I always say it's totally up to your discretion how much you want to share family. But you know what? Like people, you need to make sure that you have photos of you, not you hiding behind the photos, not just quotes, not just food photos. Make sure that when they go to your page, they see a picture of you. And then I do emojis because that's my personality. I never want people to think, I don't think that's just a way of your personality coming through. Okay, so going to this visually pleasing. So this is more on Instagram, and I just wanted to share these two photos because it's so simple. I think sometimes we look at photos and go, oh, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to make it brighter, or I don't, where you guys, it takes me 2 seconds to upload my photo to Lightroom and then put my preset over it. And then depending if I'm outside or inside, I can lighten it, brighten it. Let me close this because I hear my kids running around outside. So it's such a simple touch, right? So to me, I am just attracted to bright photos. So I had to do a check myself, like, what do I like to see? And when I realized I like bright and airy photos, I got a preset that has like bright and airy, and I share a lot of pinkish coral colors in my feed. So to me, I always say, but what do you like? What is scroll stopping for you? Like when you're looking, or there's an account or a few accounts, maybe they're not even Beachbody coaches, right? But you're just like, I don't know why, but I just like going to their account. Think about why though. Okay. Because then you think, how could I make mine more like that? And then if you're wondering, I do use, it's called Light and Airy preset. It cost me about $34 and I've used it for the last 2 years. So is it worth it? Absolutely. Um, Okay, so how to make your photos pop and then know your brand. So this obviously takes time, but what will others see when they come to your page? What do you want them to see? So I try to stay consistent, obviously, with my lighting, so a preset, my fonts, emojis, the video format that I use if I ever share videos, and then who are you trying to talk to? You have to get really specific. And I know probably a lot of you guys maybe not, are busy moms, right? But I can't just talk to busy moms. I try to get really specific of sharing how I'm a mom of four, a mom of three boys, now a mom of three boys and a girl, a work from home mom, that I'm an ex-collegiate soccer player. I prior pharmaceutical woman climbing the corporate ladder. I was burnt out, right? I needed an outlet outside of mom life. I yearned for time freedom, even though I loved working. You will always see me incorporate pizza, coffee, running, because that's me, right? So when people start seeing that, they start having a little bit more of a connection with you that makes them feel more trust, right? You become more likable and they feel like, okay, you know what? I get her, you know? In the very beginning, I felt like I was always thinking about my husband's friends or like a girl from high school or someone who I'm like, oh, they're what are they thinking of these posts? And then I had to like do a gut check and be like, that's not who I'm talking to. You know, I'm not talking to Nick's friends and they can easily unfollow me because you kind of go from this sharing just family life, you and your husband, whatever. And then you go to this transition of sharing fitness and being more positive, being you the focus, right? And some people can be like, why? What's this change? You know, they have a hard time with that. But then what do you hope to provide? So for me, I'm always like, I'm trying to show that I have a solution for women who are maybe needing community, who need efficient workouts, who need simple and easy recipes and meal plans. So those are the kind of things that I'm going to make sure that I'm always talking about and what I've struggled with in the past, or if I'm going through kind of a shift and I feel like I'm, you know, in a funk, I'll share about that too, because that helps people make you just become more relatable. But you need to be the example. You need to show like, all right, this is what I'm doing, this is what I've done, and this is why it worked, because then they can start seeing themselves in you. Okay, so talk to you in your post. Avatar. I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Holly Hilliard that she talks about like got to talk to your avatar, and the avatar is you. So I always go back to saying, who cares what so and so is going to think? Who cares if this isn't like maybe I'm not going to relate to everyone, but I'm going to talk to the other Kellys out there. And maybe that's the Kelley before Beachbody. Maybe that's the Kelley when I was so burnt out in my corporate job, wondering how I will live the rest of my life doing this 9 to 5 job on someone else's timeline, right? That is who I talk to. So I think about what she needs to hear and what she may be struggling with. And then what would make her happy, what makes her sad, what she's worried about. And that's how I try to do my posts, right? I ask for advice. I share helpful tips that I've learned, share things that make you laugh, also things that you did or currently struggling with, right? And then, of course, engagement. It's not always about Beachbody. Sometimes I feel like when we see our stories dip, it's because you probably have done, you know, a few call to actions and maybe you've been talking about coaching, you've been talking about your challenge group, but maybe that's all that you've been talking about. That's when I decide, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to make it fun. I'm going to share my outfits. I'm going to talk about other things besides coaching, other things besides my challenge groups. I do like jab, 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 right hook, right? So it's like easy, 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 boom, right? Because I think sometimes you don't want to feel like you don't want people to think, oh, she's always trying to sell to me. There's a very easy way of inviting every day, and I do invite every day in my stories in some way or another. Maybe not the weekends, but I just want to let you know, like it's just a matter of evaluating and you taking your business into your own hands and evaluating your newsfeed, evaluating your insights from posts. Like here you can go to insights and you can click on it if you have either a creator account or business account, and you can see the posts that have done well. And then you go, okay, this is what my audience wants. And just so you know, posts that do well don't always have the most likes. So a lot of times when I share recipes, or, tips on fitness or workout videos, a sequence of workout videos, I'll get so many saves on those, but then like those people don't like my posts. So I always think insights are really great for that too, because then you're like, oh, I shouldn't go off of just likes, which sometimes we can get in our head about that. And then you're telling your story, you guys, over and over and over again. Like, how many of us know Melanie Mitro's story? How her husband almost divorced her because she was focused too much on her business, and how she had to figure out a way to still do this business. We all know some coaches' stories, and it's because they tell it over and over again. Like when I hear that story again, I'm like, well, I know it, but I'm still probably going to read some of it maybe. But it's like, you have to assume that there are always new eyes on your feed, always new people. And then also, people aren't on social media like we are. So sometimes I think we think, oh, well, I've already talked about that. I've already done that. Well, no, you got to always be reiterating it. People need to see it over and over again. I think there's a study out there Coca-Cola did that said something like it takes up to 10 touches before someone decides that, like, I need that, right? Like, I need that shampoo, or I need that commercial finally gets to you and you go, okay, it's in your head after about that 10th time. So this is just an example of me trying to get the emotion from people. This is my first son. I had my pump bag, I had my lunch bag, my water, and I'm hugging him goodbye, leaving him with the nanny. Here is today where I get to be with my baby, and I get to choose when I get help. I get to choose when I work. And so I will share this photo that you guys see with me hugging my son all the time, because it might be like the swipe photo, not the first main one. Sometimes it'll be that first one. It just depends. But I have to remind myself to continue to tell my story over and over again, because that is what those other Kelleys will need to see for them to go, that's me. I'm reaching out to Kelley. I need to do this, right? Okay, so how to make connections. You need to build connections and invite. You need to build trust. So we all know consistency builds trust. So how often, I always say to my coaches, like, let's just do an audit, right? When they're telling me that they're not like hitting Success Club or they're struggling, I'm like, okay, well, let's just do a little audit. How often are you posting? Okay, great. Well, on average, how many stories a day are you doing? There's not the magic number. And I know we all want to know, like, well, what is it? I just think that if you're mostly sharing consistently on your feed and in your stories, that is great. Sometimes if it's, I'll go to one of my coaches and be like, well, maybe we need to tweak this. Maybe you need to be sharing a little bit more like hard call to actions on some of these. I would do maybe a before and after here. And then you have to invest the time to connect with people. So this is huge. This is something that I personally think has helped me in hitting Success Club most months or almost every month. But that is for me to connect with people. So that is going stuff that you won't see on my feed, right? That's behind the scenes. That's me making sure that I am engaging with people who like my posts and giving them love and connecting with them. So make sure that you are doing that at least 20 minutes a day. And I'm not saying that's when you're inviting. That's just connecting with people that are on your feed, watching your stories, liking your posts. And then I like to send private messages, and I'll get to showing some examples of that too. But make sure that you're sprinkling your journey, because if you're not, people don't have a reason to join you. People don't want to see when you've shown up on day 20 and you look great. People want to see the struggle and then the process of you getting to that endpoint. So yeah, how you overcame a struggle but kept going. And then value. I always say, you don't know what to post about, you don't know what to share, just think value, 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 because you can never overserve, and you can never overvalue, you can never overserve. So like anytime that I'm like, oh, I don't know what to share, it's like, I always think, okay, well, how can I add value today? Okay, so this is something I do every single month, and it's worked for me. I make this in Word Swag, where I just take a photo, and you don't have to do it like this. You can just upload any photo on Instagram stories, save it, and then you can edit it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever you want to go to, and say, I'm looking for 5 women. And then I describe a little bit about what I'm going to be doing in this group. So what I like to do is, as the beginning of the month, we always do our challenge groups the third Monday of the month. So it gives us about 2 to 3 weeks to hit Success Club. So beginning of the month, I am literally have this prepared, something on the lines like this. talking about what my next group is. And then I do a countdown. So anytime that I add someone new, I will add their name here, and then I'll do a call to action, meaning I'll do either a poll or, swipe. Now it's mainly leave your link or the swipe emoji. Or you can just say comment with something below so they can DM you too. I like to mix it up. But anytime that I have someone that joins me, I just did this today. I didn't show it yesterday, but my group started on Monday and I'm still inviting to it because I know that there's someone out there that probably needs to be invited. You never know when that right time will be for someone. And then again, the magic is in the DMs, and I'm going to share some examples of, so I started the month, September 1st came. I had a good month last month. I think I was around 34, SC 34. I got my husband back to Diamond. I was stoked. And then all of a sudden I'm at -2. And that's just defeating. When you're at -2, it's just like, really? All right. But then I just had to change. And like the first week, I feel like I wasn't really in it. I felt like I was just, I don't know what we were doing. It was Labor Day weekend, it was just a busy. So I was at 0 or -2 until like, I want to say a week ago. And last week, as you can see, end of August to last week, September 9th, I started inviting. And I probably sent some like this, maybe 30 to 40 invites like this. And as you can see, you guys, there's a lot of double invites. They don't always respond to you. Okay. So one invite was in August. She never responded. So then when last Tuesday, we did it again. And then look, they are ready. What if I didn't reach out to them? They didn't take my poll. They didn't comment on my call to action posts. Sometimes I think we're like, well, no one wants to join us. They didn't take my poll. I know that they're watching me. They didn't comment on my call to action post. Oh, well, this is not going to have a good month. No. Last week, I literally sat down for 3 hours and I just was like, Kelley, you got to 10 times it. I'm at 0. I am not going to break my streak. And today I woke up, I'm at Success Club 14. My goal is always 20 or higher. So I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep reaching out to people. But here are just some examples of what I do, you guys. I say a lot of the same things. I think what helped me is that I had a focus group. It's food focused. So it's nutrition or it's fitness, but food focused. And, I'm just saying, hey, this is going to be like a quick 21-day focused group to get us like kickstarted again. So sometimes you have to take like, all right, what do you think women right now, moms need? They feel overwhelmed. At least I know a lot of my friends do. You're getting back into routine. School has started. You're juggling sports, after school activities. They don't think they have time to do a workout. They don't think they have time to commit to your program. But you have to show them why, not just in your stories, not just in your posts, but also in those invites too. And then you have to get uncomfortable. So as you guys know, growth does not happen in your comfort zone. So I try to shoot for a post a day. Like I said, it doesn't always happen, but if I, sometimes I will go 2 or 3 days without posting, and I know that's okay. I just want to make sure that I am staying consistent and I'm adding value. I always do weekly call to action posts on coachings and my groups every single week. And then we just call it breadcrumbing, right? You're breadcrumbing about your journey, about your challenge groups, about what you provide as a coach. What is it like being on your team? I'm breadcrumbing that every single day. And then again, those one-on-one invites, as you saw on this slide before, because I think sometimes you might go, oh, Kelley, you're a 2-time-a-week coach, or you're this, like you hit Success Club 20 or more every month. Like, no, people aren't just rushing to me. Yes, I have forms they can fill out. Sometimes I get lucky and they do. But sometimes it's like, wow, I'm having a slow month. I got to do the work. And then make sure you're inviting challengers to become coaches and that they join your next challenge group. Keep them in your community. I always want my challengers to feel like they're welcome back. And then, of course, make sure you're hosting sneak peeks, info sessions, sip and learns. That's what we call them. And then I just wanted to share this because this helped another call that I did and my coaches, like just how to talk about coaching. And these are just 5 questions to ask yourself, because I swear I hear it all day long. I just don't know how to talk about coaching. I'm not really making a great income. I don't know how to talk about it. I'm like, well, why did you decide to become a coach? What has coaching done for you? What do you see coaching doing for your future? what are your favorite parts about coaching? What made you nervous about coaching? These are all ways to share about coaching. It has nothing to do with income. It has nothing to do with your accolades or what number coach you are, right? And the network. It doesn't matter. But if you're not talking about it, people will not know why they should join you. They don't know it's a real opportunity. So I could share this too. I like to keep this on my phone. And I have it in this section where it's like all about coaching. So that way I could send it off to my coaches if they're like, I don't know what to talk about. Or if I feel that way, I just go back to this. And then consistency. I mean, we all know this, right? So plan your month, your week, and posting schedule around your team's marketing calendar. It's actually quite easy. You should know what you're talking about every single week based on what you have going on that week. So put that into your calendar every single month before the month starts. And then that way you have an idea on Sunday night. You can look through and go, okay, I have an idea of what I need to touch on. Like I'm not a Melanie Mitro. I'm not someone who's a big planner, but I know what is coming up and I know what I'm going to be talking about. I just don't have my posts completely written out, right? And then that's it, you guys. Are there any questions?
First of all, I love that photo. How'd you get all those awesome colors of pants? Did you tell them to all wear pastel?
No. Yes, I did. I was like, we are wearing pastel colors.
That's awesome. Well, I'm not going to talk a lot. If my coaches have questions, but I just want to say thank you first and foremost, because having your name be Kelley and you saying Kelley needs to do this and Kelley needs to talk to Kelley, I felt like you were talking exactly to me, so it was perfect for me. But I don't know, does anybody have any questions or comments for Kelley? You can write it in the chat or you can unmute yourself.
This was really helpful. I want to say thank you for taking the time to talk with us. And what you bulleted out about the bio, I think is really helpful. I'm a senior person, retired, 64 years old, soon to be 65. So I think I struggle a little bit, even though I know that I talk to people that are retired, and I'm a snowbird. So I winter in Arizona. I travel in a motorhome. That's where I'm at right now. I just left Oregon. I'm on my way to Arizona. So I'm in Idaho in my motorhome. But it's, my pockets of people are all different because I'm a retired senior accountant from a healthcare company. So I'm very passionate about health and wellness. Always, that's what I did for my job. So trying to chisel it down or to find my brand and how to get people, because my daughter's 40. I am a mom. My daughter's deaf. There's lots of things that I can connect to, but inching it down to try to get your right niche, I have struggled with. So this was really helpful for me, really helpful.
Oh, good.
So thank you.
And she lies because she is not struggling. She's the most consistent Success Club point earner on the team. And she's going to be a Success Club 5 All-Star this freaking month. So you don't do that by struggling, girlfriend. Okay. So I have to tell you, she's lying. She's not struggling. She's awesome.
So from your experience, if you've had, if you had a coach come to you and you had all these multiple, how would you suggest to your coach to niche it down?
So like if they have more than like 5 traits about them,
Mm-hmm.
I think where you can get the most specific is probably by your age, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I have a woman who is just turned, or did she hit 50 yet? So I was like, stop doing all these videos that are tailoring towards, like, she always speeds up her videos and makes them like in Triller. And I'm like, you're not attracting your tribe that way, because you need to talk to people that are around your age. And I always think when they watch you, can they see themselves, one, doing what you do? And then also you're thinking, can they see themselves doing what you do as a coach too? Not just working out, not just staying healthy. But I think like we all probably can name, like I could have named so many other things on my bio, right? I didn't say runner mom. I didn't say coffee addict and pizza lover or whatever, you know, like I think that's stuff that you can share on your feed, but it's more of what's different about you on your profile. So you can say you're like mid 60s. That's amazing that I mean, that's so inspiring. So yeah, you want to use a lot of hashtags too that are probably tailoring to that age group. You know, I would say like motorhome living, talk about that, adventures of being in a motorhome and how you're staying active and healthy, right? Like that's huge too. Because I think even if you're not going to just relate to people who are in a motorhome, your people are just going to be inspired by you just for, I'm making an excuse and I have my house and a TV and and here's this woman that's able to get it done while she's on this road trip. Like, I need to know what she's doing. So I think we can all like figure out that our main, and if you have a hard time with that, just ask your coach and be like, okay, help me out. This is too long. How can I condense this? Because I think sometimes you need fresh eyes. Like I'll go to one of my best friends who's not even a coach and I will have her look at my stuff and be like, I need your honest opinion. Can you tell me, like, do you feel like this is me? Do I need to change anything? What do you think I should add? So sometimes it's nice to have someone that's like unbiased too, from like an outside view.
Anybody else have questions, comments? Everybody's just quiet. I know we would have if we had all our normal people on, we'd have so many questions. Go ahead.
I like had a question, but my kids have been fighting and like I got a phone call and like life has been lifey. So I really like your stuff. I was wondering, forget it. If it comes back to me, I'll ask. I definitely had something I wanted to ask because you gave so many good nuggets. Sorry.
Okay, because Kel and we can chat later. Yeah. Like she can just message me anything at any given point. But I just like I kind of changed these slides up. I did a presentation similar to this not too long ago for another coach. And I wanted to really hone in on the fact that like we all have those slower months. We all have those times of like where we feel like we're struggling. And I just think it's so much in our mindset. Like I didn't even put this in the slides, but I think, you know, I had to do like a reset for myself probably like 3 or 4 months ago. Like, okay, why am I I'm just kind of like going through the motions, right? And I'm like, I need to have that excitement again. Like I've been doing this for 6 years. It can get a little monotonous at times, you know, it's like that. It's so cyclical. So it's like, you need to have things that excite you. And I think that's why, to me, I'm so excited about the bike. I got my white one today. I'm excited to just change things up, do more of the live workouts. And then, you know, I showed in my like visuals how I'm doing a food focus group. So to me, what's been really helpful is doing just like quick 21-day groups and having it be a theme. Like this one is fitness and food focused. And I feel like I'm always adding healthy tips and stuff, but I felt like I did a lot of polls being like, what do most people struggle with? And it's always nutrition.
Yep.
So sometimes I think we get so caught up in like watching what other people are doing. And, you know, I actually was doing 645 and I stopped it after 3 weeks. And I'm not that coach who stops a program, but my heart and my energy was not there. And so I just knew like, you know what, I'm going to be authentic and show my audience. Like I was so excited about this. It's just not for me. Like I love the trainer and I'll do the work all day long, but I just couldn't do that 45 minutes being a mom of 4 and my time is so precious. And so a lot of people were like, thank you for being honest. Like, thank you for saying that. Like sometimes you got to do what feels right. And to me, I had to do this reset of, okay, it's not doing the work. I mean, it's not doing 645. It's maybe doing a food focus group because I see that's what my audience needs and I need to serve them. And so I had to tweak my guide for it. Took me like an hour on Saturday to, you know, I worked a little bit on Saturday to figure out my new guide. Like there's sacrifices that we make sometimes. But in order to have growth and to build off of maybe that slump or whatever you might feel like you're in, like sometimes you just got to be the one that takes action and go, okay, what do I need right now? And how can I serve my audience better? What's going to get me hyped up? Because sometimes it's like that monotonous stage of doing the same thing, sharing the same thing. It's like mix it up a little bit. Make sure you're having fun.
Absolutely. I love that because you remember? Okay.
No, I'll still remember. You talk.
Okay. Well, no, I was gonna say, because I resigned from my job in June and to be a full-time coach, and it's like, and so I'm just getting that newness part of being a full-time coach, but that excitement, you have to keep that excitement alive and fresh and new, and that's, yeah, we have a lot in store for the remainder of the year. So it helps me to hear you say that, because we have a lot of things in play to have these separate focuses and challenges within our own big group to keep people excited too about their own health and wellness, because it also gets, I think, monotonous for a regular person. Like, I just keep working out every day and I just keep trying to eat better every day and be, it's like, isn't there something at the end? No, it doesn't end. So you have to add in that fun and that excitement.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Laura.
So what I was going to ask you is, a lot of coaches on our team actually keep expressing that like connections are where they feel like they're struggling. And so you said 20 minutes of connections a day. But I'm curious, like specifically, what does that look like? Like, does that look like likes from your post and then you're messaging them directly about that post, or like, because that's where they're literally, our team seems to be looking for specifically what are people doing for connections.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to just go to messages and what I do. So really quick, the easiest thing for me, and this is why I always tell my coaches, you need to have static posts on your news feed, right? And I'm assuming you guys do. So you have static posts that you can go to. So like, for example, I had, like, it's so funny, the ones that do well. I had a post yesterday that did really well, 1,700 likes. It was a quote, right? Like, so simple. So like, what? And I'm like, how am I going to connect with all these people? There's no way I'm going to be able to connect with all those people. But what I love about it is that if I feel like I'm like struggling to hit Success Club, or not even that, but like if I want to spend 20 minutes today connecting, right? I'm going to go to that feed and I'm going to start with the people who commented, and I'm going to just go through that and I messaged all of them individually. I spent time and I said, thanks for the love on my post. I'm glad that I'm not alone. LOL. I hope you're having a great week. Like, kept it so simple. That's it. And then when I have time, like, I didn't do this yet. That was just me responding to everyone that commented. I will go to their feed and I will, if they're not private, I will, connect with them and maybe comment on a photo. The other thing that I'll do is simply like look at my stories, right? And go to the last one. So 22 hours ago, swipe up. We all know you can do that. I look at the people who are watching my stories. I go to the very bottom. So I go all the way at the bottom. That way I know I'm starting at the bottom and then I work my way up. And then that's where I will go, okay, like, what's the last conversation with this girl? She's watching my stories, and I'll go to it. And like, I mean, this is just funny. Look at all the messages that I've sent her. She hasn't responded to me. So I want you to know, like, they don't all come out positive. This is real life, but I do say stuff like, hey, Melissa, I just wanted to send you a quick thanks for following along my journey. I love connecting with other busy mamas. Your twins are adorable, by the way. Let me know if you ever like info on my groups or the challenges that I run. My next one starts, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, if not, no big deal. Hope you're doing well. Like, to me, that is a connection right there. Yes, that has more of an invite too. I do a lot of messages too, where let me see if I can find any, but I simply just say, oh, here it is. Hi there, thanks for the follow back. So if they follow me back, I love connecting with other mamas and busy ladies on here. Hope you get some inspo from my page. So let me stop that. If they didn't follow me back, and I don't know, but they're someone that's following me, right? You can see if they're following you or they're watching your stories. You can simply, it's connecting, just saying, hi there, thanks for following along my journey. I love connecting with other mamas and busy ladies on here. Hope you get some inspo from my page. I'm a mom of 4 and I love sharing fitness/nutrition tips and all things mommin. And a lot of times I get people that respond to that because it's no invite. And she said, hi, thanks. I'm a mom to 2 little boys too. And I said, oh, I love it. Being a boy mom is the best. Like, I'm continuing that like conversation with this girl And it's just by me asking, or not really asking, I'm just giving her a little bit about what she's going to see on my page. And a lot of times, I swear, I get so many people that respond to that, that'll say, oh my gosh, I am struggling right now with my fitness. I'm excited to watch your journey. Or I'm on a postpartum journey. I can't believe you have 4 kids. I'm struggling with 2. Oh my God, wow, and then they like check you out and go, wow, how did you get those results? And then it's like, well, let me just tell you about what I do. And then it organically goes to, like, I'm bold. I mean, I full on will say, well, I would love to invite you to my private accountability group. Do you want me to tell you a little bit more about it? I absolutely think they are amazing. It's what helped me as a busy mom of 4. I've gotten results and I'm not depriving myself. I'm not dieting. Most of the time they'll respond and say, yeah, sure, I'd love some more info. And that's literally how I get people every single month, is by making those connections, and then it kind of going down to connecting, then inviting.
All right, I got a follow up to that, if that's okay.
Yeah, no,
So
go for it.
Are you tracking this, or is it pretty haphazard who you end up inviting? Like, are you literally just connecting with people and then whoever's following and it just randomly magically is happening? Or do you have a system?
I remember hearing this a while ago and I have stuck to it. I will not track it until they respond. So like, if I have someone that responds and says, oh, I'm a boy mom too, or, whatever, I will move them into a folder. So we have primary and general. So I will move anyone that I'm talking to general. And every week I will go through my general and I will move people. Like, I need to do this one right now. I will move people who are already clients of mine, or like maybe coaches now, back to primary, because I want my general to only be people that I'm like really talking to and they've been wanting info, or we're on that connection point. So also, besides just that, because I know they can go through the cracks, but this is what I did last week when I was like, I'm at -2. I need to freaking hit Success Club. I went all the way down on my general, just as what I started with. And that's when I was seeing, like, my last message to someone was in November. So it was great to be like, hey, I know I haven't connected with you since November. It wasn't a good time then, but I am running this group for busy moms. Wanted to send you a quick invite again. Thanks again for following along. XO, right? So that's one way. And then the other way is that I use the Rise Up Planner. I'm a pen to paper girl. And I know that's crazy. Not everyone likes hearing that because they want to have more. Like, I do have Google Streak. I have a lot of stuff in there, but I just don't use it for follow-ups and stuff. I am not on my computer a lot. I think it's because I was in outside sales when the first 3 years of doing this, that I got used to doing so much from my phone, that this is where I go, and then I write it on paper, and then I highlight the people that have committed.
That's really helpful. Thank you.
I have a coach that's like, oh my gosh, how do you follow up with people? Like, how do you? And I'm like, what do you mean? I follow up with the people who have not responded back to me. I just go back to those people and can continue to invite them. As you guys saw, there are people that didn't. I asked them 3 different times, and they finally said, oh my God, this is perfect timing, Kelley. I'm actually ready to do something with my nutrition. Or, so it's, to me, you can never ask someone too many times. And if you're just keep it light and maybe throw in, like, besides always inviting them, like, maybe go to their feed and give them some love, right? Like, I'm realizing that's something that's huge too. So if you're connecting with people, go to their feed too and give them some love. But that's how I always hit Success Club, and it works, and I just don't overthink it.
But I always say, I go to people and I've invited them maybe 10 times and they've never responded, but they keep reading them and they keep liking my posts and they keep watching my stories and and it's like, there's a reason that they're still, if they were so annoyed by my invites, they would block me or unfollow me. I would assume, because it's like, there's some people that just haven't seen your stuff and they're way down on the thing, but it's like the ones that are actively still liking and commenting on your posts and watching your stories, they're continuing to watch you for a reason. And so I think that's why we continue to connect and then still make sure that they know that we have something to invite to. But I think it's funny, like, your connection tips, because that's one of my things that I'm struggling with as well, is feeling like I want to be more authentic and connect before I send that invite. And I used to go from all the likes on my post to straight to an invite. I'm going to invite those people, but instead it's just a simple connect before that invite. Just putting one extra step, which might take a little bit longer, but it's going to be more authentic, and you're going to actually create a relationship and probably get a response, whether it's a yes to an invite right away. So it's just tweaking that a little bit. I love that.
If you do that every day, you're building your pipeline of customers, and then you know, the more people you connect with, they're moving along the pendulum to like getting to that invite stage. And so and then I find the people that I reach out to just saying like, hey, I'm a busy mom of 4, I share fitness and nutrition tips, right? Like just no invite. I find that they're the ones that end up taking my poll. I'll be like, oh, I got some new people that took my poll. And it's like, because they ended up kind of be like, oh, thanks for reaching out to me and send me a message. And then they like check you out. And then they're like, oh, cool. What is that? And they take your poll. So it works. It's just that we don't spend enough time with making those connections. And then also find out what your audience needs. I always go back to that. When I'm having a slower month, I'm like, God, I must not be like providing enough value, or I must not be doing something right. And it's not always that you're not doing something right if you're having a slow month. I just think sometimes you're always got to be learning and growing. Mm-hmm. And reels, if you go to some of my reels, not all of them have taken off, but it helped me grow. And sometimes reels are really a lot of work and time. So, I try to shoot for maybe 1 or 2 a week, but I don't feel like, oh my God, I need to be that coach that's always providing and entertaining. Like, that's just not how I want to be. I don't have the energy for that, but I think it is a really good way to obviously grow and get more eyes on your page.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I got so much and I just feel so blessed, and I am so glad it finally worked out for timing. And I just hope I can bring as much value when I, talk on your call next month. But I think if nobody has any other questions, we'll let her go. I know this could be a break for you. I don't know, like to be able to lock yourself in your bedroom from an hour from your 4 children, but
I know, I'm like, how's my husband doing?
Right, you're like, I'm sorry, we're still 30 minutes more, sorry.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. And I hope everyone has a wonderful evening.
Bye guys. Thanks for watching me.
Are you trying to unmute yourself, Lori?
Yeah. Are you staying on? I thought you said there was going to be more stuff you were going to talk about.
Oh, only
yeah, you did say that at the end or at the beginning.
Only if there was questions.